Keely Hodgkinson just ran the fastest losing time in history. She lost, and she still broke the British record. Now she's heading to London to chase a record older than her own coach's career. One number stands between her and history, 1:53.28. Nobody has touched it in 43 years. Can Keely finally be the one? Let's rewind to Stockholm, back in June. Keely Hodgkinson walked into that race as the world indoor champion, fresh off breaking a 24-year-old indoor world record months earlier. She looked unstoppable. Nobody expected what happened next. A 22-year-old from Switzerland named Audrey Werro ran right past her in the final straight. Werro crossed the line in 1 minute 53.98 seconds. That's the third fastest 800 meters ever run by a woman. Only 2 people on the planet have ever gone faster. Keely finished right behind her in 1:54.33, a brand new British record. And somehow, that still wasn't enough to win. Think about that. Keely ran the best race of her career, and she still lost. 3 weeks later in Paris, Werro did it again, running 1:53.80. That's just half a second away from the actual world record, a record that has stood untouched since 1983. 2 runs under 1 minute 54 seconds from the same athlete in a single month. So 2 women have now gotten closer to breaking the oldest record in track and field than anyone thought possible this year. And now, all eyes turn to London. Novuna London Athletics Meet happens on July 18th at London Stadium. It's the 11th stop on this year's Diamond League Tour, and it's basically Keely's home meet. She's British. This is her crowd. This is where she says she wants to make history. But here's the twist most people are missing. Audrey Werro isn't in London. She's not on the start list. The official entries are out, and her name simply isn't there. The woman who just beat Keely twice, the woman who ran the fastest 800 meters by anyone alive today, will not be on that track. So this time, Keely isn't racing Werro. She's racing something much harder to beat. She's racing the clock, and she's racing a ghost from 1983. That ghost has a name. Jarmila Kratochvilova. Let's talk about who she actually was, because this record has a wild story most fans don't know. In 1983, Kratochvilova was 32 years old, which is considered late in a track career. But that summer in Munich, Germany, she ran the 800 meters in 1 minute 53.28 seconds. Nobody had ever run that fast before, and in the 43 years since, nobody has run that fast again. For over 4 decades, this record has survived everything. Fast women came and went. World champions and Olympic champions all tried and all fell short. That's how you know a record is truly special. It doesn't just survive one era, it survives every era after it. But there's a shadow over this record too, and it's worth talking about honestly. Kratochvilova never failed a single drug test in her career. Not once. Still, people questioned her physical build and her sudden leap in performance that year. This was the 1980s, an era when several Eastern Bloc countries were later found to be running secret state-sponsored doping programs. Kratochvilova has always denied using performance-enhancing drugs, and nothing was ever proven against her through testing. But the suspicion has followed this record for 40 years, regardless. In 2017, European athletics even proposed wiping out every world record set before 2005, just to give the sport a clean slate. That proposal never actually went through. Kratochvilova's time still stands today untouched, exactly as it did in 1983. Kratochvilova is 75 years old now. She still lives in her home country, in a small village in the Czech Republic. After her competing days ended, she became a coach, training young runners at the national level for years. She has kept a quiet, private life, far away from cameras and endorsements. But every single time a new runner gets close to her time, her name comes right back into the headlines. That's exactly what's happening again right now. Now Keely Hodgkinson wants to be the one who finally erases it. She's not shy about saying it either. Keely has openly said she would love for this to happen on home soil, in front of her own fans. She's even joked that London could turn into a full battle of world records, since 2 other British stars are chasing history at the same meet. Josh Kerr is going after the men's mass mile world record that same afternoon. Mondo Duplantis, the pole vault legend, is also competing that day. It's shaping up to be one of the biggest days in British athletics in years, but let's bring the focus back to Keely, because her season alone has been incredible to watch. Back in February, she broke the world indoor 800-meter record in France, running 1:54.87. That old record had stood since the actual day Keely was born. She broke a record older than she was. Then in March, she won her first ever world indoor title on top of it. She was flying. Everything was clicking into place. And then Stockholm happened, and suddenly she wasn't just competing against history anymore. She was competing against Audrey Werro too, on the same track in real time. Now, without Werro in London, some people might assume this makes things easier for Keely. It might actually be the opposite. When you're racing another elite athlete stride for stride, they push you forward. Your body finds another gear because someone is right next to you, breathing down your neck. Keely has talked about this honestly too. She said breaking this record needs a perfect storm of conditions. The weather has to be right. Her body has to feel right. The pacing has to be exactly right. Everything has to line up on the same afternoon for it to actually happen. That's what makes 153.28 so brutal to chase. It's not just about being fast enough on paper. It's about every variable coming together at once under real pressure. The world record sits at 153.28. Keely's current personal best is 154.33, the time she ran while losing to Werro in Stockholm. So Keely needs to find just over 1 full second. In sprinting terms, across 2 full laps, that's an enormous gap to close. It sounds small when you say it out loud. It is anything but small once you're actually out there. For context, back in 2024, Keely ran 154.61 at that very same London stadium. At the time, that was considered a world-class performance. Now, because of everything that's happened this season, that same time would barely count as her personal best anymore. The entire sport is moving at a different speed now. 2 years ago, running under 1 minute 54 seconds seemed nearly impossible for anyone not named Kratochvilova. Now Werro has done it twice in a single month, and Keely has come agonizingly close herself. The whole landscape of women's 800-meter running has shifted in just a few weeks this summer. So what actually happens in London on the 18th? Keely's field is stacked with talent even without Werro. She'll face Femke Bol, who's switching over from the 400-meter hurdles to try the 800 for the first time. Bol is a 2-time Olympic and world medalist over hurdles, and now she wants to prove she can compete at this distance too. She'll also face Georgia Hunter-Bell, a world championship silver medalist and fellow Brit who knows exactly what it takes to push Keely to her limit. Tsige Duguma of Ethiopia and American Addison Wiley round out a field capable of running fast from the gun. Every one of these women could end up playing pacer, whether they mean to or not, simply by being fast enough to keep Keely honest through that brutal opening lap. So, on July 18th, the real question isn't whether Keely can beat another runner in the field. The real question is whether she can beat herself, beat the clock, and finally catch a ghost that's been running free since 1983. If she manages to do it, this becomes one of the greatest moments in British athletics history. And if she falls short this time, one thing is already certain heading into next season: this chase is far from over.